Here we are, Mr. Hanks.
Hey, Mr. Gallant, we all over again. What, Monday morning again? Here we are.
We are definitely, and yet, well, we've got a bit of grey sky today, but I don't know. There seems to be some vibrant colours we have there on the screen.
Oh, isn't it gorgeous?
Right.
Yeah,
So and of course, the Brisbane has won the right to be on show for the rest of the country with the AFL final.
Grand final is in October 24th.
October 24th.
Yeah.
And I hear that you guys are moving up the ladder to sixth place or something.
The Saints yesterday on my birthday, Tommy. Yesterday was my birthday.
What a birthday present that was.
Yeah.
Right.
I woke up this morning and I'm a year older. I'm 57 years old now.
You don't look a day over 56, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you, man. I knew you were going to squeeze that in. Feeling fantastic at 57 years old.
Right.
I feel like I've hit my prime. I feel like I'm really on track, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and it's a great place to be. You know?
Was it easy to get there?
Yes and no. It's a yes and no answer. You know?
Right.
It's a yes and no answer.
I think it would be for everybody.
Yeah,
really.
I'd say the last 12 months have been fantastic.
Right.
So I've been really focused.
Yeah.
Really focused the last 12 months. It's like I wanted to get this physicality in play.
Yeah.
I want to get the mental in play. I want to get the emotions in play. I want to get my spiritual in play and on track. And I've been working hard.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of work over the last 12 months in particular to really hit the sweet spot.
Right.
And I feel like I'm pretty close.
Oh, awesome.
So it feels great.
Well, I mean, it's a constant evolutionary thing, right? Because life will come at you.
Yeah.
You know, you get up to the next gaming level and there's a new challenge.
I did this year. We're only in September. We've got another 4 months to go. And, wow, what a journey it's been. Particularly March, April, May, June. Relationship stuff going on. And all that, it was a challenging time. Moving into my own space. And, moving down to the Goldie, proper. I don't call the Goldie unless you'll see the ocean. That's my take of the Gold Coast.
Well, this is true. If you come to the Gold Coast, then you got to enjoy the Gold Coast. Otherwise, live in suburbia.
Yeah. So for me, Tommy, it's probably a great segue into where we're going.
Right.
It was a recalibration, it was a reset for myself. I was recalibrating, myself in a personal space, but also my business space as well. Like, where am I going? And I'm still calibrating. I've got a few new things coming in, and I've got a few old things going out that are paradigm that don't suit me anymore.
That's and how important is that part, right? That what you just mentioned, that a number of old things going out, and I think that is happening at mass on a scale we've never seen in the world right now. Right now, and I'm not alone in saying this, and there really is this movement, this feeling that is surfacing, where a number of people are, this wasn't about a virus.
Right?
In fact, it's not about a virus anymore. Right? It's about humanity and where it's at. So it's amazing how that thing, thank you, mainstream media, triggered off a lot of things that people are going, where are we really headed? Why have we been doing what they're really questioning?
And one example, Tommy, is people working from home. Right. I mean, you and I, personally, I've been working from home space myself for 15 years now.
Right.
And a small majority of people doing that in a home-based office.
Yep.
And now that's like widespread.
Right.
Companies now are allowing their workers to be at home, and they're going, well, I'm not sure if you actually need to be back in the office anymore.
Right.
Production's going up. Health and well-being is going up.
Yep.
There's sometimes stress at home because the shared space with the relationships.
Yep.
That has changed, and domestic violence has gone up, unfortunately, in some spaces.
Suicide has gone up.
Suicide's gone up. But if we can balance that with some educational tools, it could be that the new home space is the new paradigm for a lot of businesses. So that's one example. Right. And there's many others.
Wow. I mean, look.
So the question is, I want to keep you on track in terms of the physiological.
Good luck.
Good luck. With the physiological, if we're talking about the reset, we're talking about recalibration and doing that in the business corporate space.
Right. Yeah.
How do we do that from the physical perspective, and what's the benefits of the physicality when we do that? So I want to let's start, the Monday on the physicality.
Okay.
Move it Monday.
Move it. I've even got my Move It Monday gear on.
He's got the gear on today.
I've got the gear on. Move It Monday. Got my frequency stuff happening too. My latest stuff testing.
He's high energy.
Careful.
So let's keep that in terms of the space of the physiological.
Yeah.
what it means in the physical, but not just the human physical, Tommy, but maybe the physical space of the office too, because that's physical.
Oh yeah.
You know, the building.
Yeah.
So if we're in an office and we're doing a reset, maybe what does that mean in terms of the company physical as well as the human physical?
Yeah.
So there's double take here for you.
Okay, all right. And then as we head into the overall theme for this one to be working towards vision and mission,
Yeah.
how that gets redefined.
Yeah. How do we
recalibrated,
redefine
right?
the vision and the mission in business? Yeah.
Right.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, everything is getting tested right now,
Yeah.
right? You know, and you look at what you know, the CV thing did, the virus thing. It sent a shockwave through the world. And you talk about people like now working more from home and all these things. It's funny how organizations didn't feel the desire, the need. Maybe they did fear, or were they just not thinking much anymore on that same treadmill? That would it be possible that maybe productivity could increase? Maybe engagement from our people could increase, and presenteeism could increase if we allow them to work from home. Now, some of the cool like startup companies tend to be of that culture, right? And especially the IT ones are more location independent, right? It's all internet stuff and information management and IT and whatever. But the more traditional organisations that had no choice because some temporary, at least currently, unless you're in Melbourne, perhaps regulations came in that said, right, split them apart, work from home, safer, don't get on the public transport. And so we tested it. Yeah. And they have done tests like this before in the past and said that productivity increases when people are working from home. Yeah. But there was this control aspect, the hierarchy, old paradigm, control, because I can see you means you're clocking in each day, right? We don't trust you. I mean, what a shitty environment that is, really.
It's trusting and how we speak about this so often.
It's trust, right? Yeah. Versus control. And what's being tested in the world right now is that controlling regime, that those beliefs, that conditioning, that programming, and it came up through our education system. It's endemic in the whole system, right?
From day one.
From day one, right? You will, and you will do your homework, and this is how much, and this is what you're going to learn, and here's the curriculum that decided by who.
And you're going to pass or fail.
Different topic, right? Compared to everybody else in this machine, pass or fail. Yet that person in that particular those subjects, and where they can add massive value to the world in a customized approach rather than being in the education factory, could absolutely excel themselves, being really happy, sitting in their seat, but also providing humongous value to the world, the best that they could. But we've got them stuck in this old machine of, no, here it is, and these are the boxes that
this is where I'm going to put you rather than your choice.
Yeah, and everybody learns these subjects horizontally, and everybody to set them up for the system that exists out there today as we head towards vision and mission, that exists out there today.
Have to do all the left brain, the maths, your science. They're the essential ingredients of the education, or that's the old thinking.
They were.
They
were, and it's being tested right now. So there are cracks appearing, I believe, in a positive sense. To recalibrate, right? Interesting. In my program with Biotech Exec, we've got 3 pillars there. So recalibrate. It's always been there. Reformulate. Thinking again. Okay, we recalibrate. We have a look where we're at. Where is it we want to go? Let's put a new formula in to get there. And then, bang, it's reactivate. Off we go. But that's got to be a circle. And the thing is, that circle didn't exist where we were in the hierarchical old paradigm. I believe things are becoming very networked now. So as companies look at their vision and mission, this is where visionaries are really going to come to the fore now, right? In defining the new paradigm within their own organizations of where it's headed. So very interesting time. And then the physiological aspect would be, how are we going to get people now to be on board more than they ever have been in a structure where we have them working together? And McKinsey & Co., those in the corporate world know who they are. They're one of the Mahogany Row consulting firms, right? I've worked with them a number of times in projects and organizations through mergers and integrations and so on, and takeovers and whatever. And so these guys are considered the smartest. There's a slide I saw a couple of weeks ago from an organization, and their new COO was presenting. And he said, you know what? Here is the old paradigm. This was according to McKinsey. Right? hierarchy, and they had a triangle, right, like a pyramid.
Yep. Bit like Maslow.
Right.
Bit like Maslow.
Bit like Maslow.
Yeah.
And then he showed, and here is the new structure. And guess what it was? It was a
circle network.
Network.
Yep.
It was a network, hub and spoke network.
Yeah.
Right. These guys are thought leaders. They know where it's headed. And I said this a year and a half ago, and I said the same thing about, not to blow sunshine up my own backside, but
a little bit.
Okay, what the heck? Turn it up.
Take a little bit.
Right, turn it up. Yes, all right. All right. Well, my ego has a little play in the sun, right? With the same with SaaS. What was SaaS? Those in the IT industry will certainly know. Software as a service, infrastructure as a service, now known as Amazon Web Services and Azure, Microsoft, all these platforms that are out there of computing, and then PaaS, platform as a service. We don't need to go there, but they all crunched this together now. They crunched it together and called it the cloud.
Yep.
And I said, this is where it's going. I was on stage, in fact, with analysts as well back then, and said, this is where it's headed. And of course, you had those that owned the big monolith IT companies that had very much a vested interest in the old world, could not turn on the dime because, like, Microsoft was one, Oracle was another, Larry Ellison over there, and you had that good old lovely Steve Ballmer guy that everybody loved in Microsoft, not. They were leading, they're saying, oh no, this is never going to happen.
Pie in the
It's
sky.
a fad, pie in the sky, fad. Well, it was a phenomenon. It wasn't a fad, it was a phenomenon. And we're in the precipice of another phenomenon for humanity now.
Yeah, we are. And the thought leaders, I don't know if it's being named yet, Tommy. I don't know if we can grasp that yet, but it's in the ethers. Yeah, it's in the ethers, and I think the thought leaders now, moving forward, it's a little bit like an idea.
Yeah.
It's like trying to grasp the idea, and once it's grasped collectively, it'll be grasped collectively, and then it'll become the new paradigm. So at the moment, I feel like we're in transition.
We're in that storming stage, forming, storming, and alarming. Yeah. I think we're still in that storming, and I think we've got a bit more storming to go.
Yeah, people feel it, like there's something going on, something going on.
Yeah,
you hear it all the time. People say,
right,
it doesn't feel right.
Right. Are we talking frequency?
Yeah, frequency. Yeah. People feel it. Yeah, feelings.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings.
And people in the feelings.
Nothing more than feelings. What was his name? Morris Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Sorry.
And people are starting to feel into that space.
Right.
And they go, it's like doing a deal, isn't it? You know, it feels like a good deal or it doesn't feel like a good deal.
Right.
That intuition.
It's emotions.
Yeah.
That's word. What are you talking about? Show me the spreadsheet.
Yeah, but if people think deep down, when you get a deal with somebody, there's that moment where you go, that felt really good, or that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And everybody has a feeling regardless.
Yeah.
Whether we allow the feeling in is another thing. Right. But everybody has a feeling, hey, that was a really good deal. Yeah. I feel good about it, or I've just signed that paper and you know what? Something just didn't feel right.
Yeah, I've pushed into it. I know the data says this, but I can't say why or how. I can't stick it on a spreadsheet that you can be accountable to Wall Street about.
Yeah. I know there's probiotics on the packet that says it's good for me, and I've just bought them.
Right.
But I'm going to do a frequency muscle test.
Oh, we did. We did a bit of a one of those.
We did some muscle testing.
We did. We've cut my micronutrients in half to have a play, right? See what they're going to. And I bring them on slowly because I've been off everything for the last week, and I've been watching my heart rate very bit because you can have too many of the wrong thing. It doesn't mean it's wrong for you forever, maybe then, because you've topped up enough. Too much of anything, including negative thoughts, bad thoughts, or micronutrients, vitamins, can also be toxic. You've got to find the sweet spot.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And how do we find them? We test it energetically.
Yeah.
Same as business. What's the new sweet spot in business, Tommy?
Right.
In terms of that vision and mission.
Yeah.
Because part of that vision still may be at play, still might be okay.
Yeah.
Some of it may be just not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Just may not be relevant, and maybe something new needs to be added.
Right.
It's a little bit like in the baking industry.
Yeah.
You have a sourdough.
Right.
You know, some of those sourdough cultures, if you take them back, they're hundreds of years old.
And you take a little bit, a mother on kombucha. You have a mother,
and you take a little bit, and you add something fresh, and then you use it up. You keep 5%. You add new, but there's always the old in there that keeps the energy flow. Right. You keep adding new, like the new culture.
Right.
So for me, it's like a lovely, beautiful sourdough. It's, we've got it's like the old guard with a little bit of the wisdom carried through. Yeah. And then the newness comes in to mix with it continually. Right. And I think that's where business is at. Right? We need to find a new culture.
It's such an exciting time, right? And we are, who I heard say this the other day on a podcast or something, I thought it was brilliant. We are, as beings, we are biological. And here's the part that we nailed. Logical. Left brain, prefrontal cortex, all wired all the way up to Wall Street and beyond, let's say. We've got the logical stuff absolutely nailed.
All the way back to Aristotle.
Right? Absolutely. Right?
It's been a long time. Logic's been around for a while.
Right.
Aristotelian logic.
Right. Okay. So we've done the logical to death.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are biological, and we've been so conditioned, programmed into using only the left part of the 4%, right? The left part of the 4% that we do use, because, like, also, and how slow this is. I had some technology come in last week that I tested. There's a band, and I'll show it in one of our next, because we're doing a lot of frequency right now.
Is that like a Federer band? You know, when he plays
like a Federer band, or Pat
tennis.
Cash for any of the Australians out there.
Pat Cash.
He had the checkerboard sort of thing.
Yeah,
but it's all black.
Yeah.
So we'll show it to you next on the next call. And it's measuring the brain frequencies live, like an encephalograph. In fact, this was tested to be more accurate than the lab encephalographs that they used. Yeah. And showed the beta, alpha. You would know about this stuff, right? Meditation, beta, alpha, theta, delta, and then you've got gamma, right? And there's areas in there for the fight and flight, which is more beta. So then you start to get to alpha and theta, more learning, in flow, right? Doing. Delta's asleep, and then gamma is that high end, like you're a monk, right? And tapping into the quantum space, right? So we'll hear about that in a sec.
See if we can go there and tap in his life.
There we go, right? So that's what we need to get to. And that is tapping into our biology. That ain't logical. It ain't logical. You can't put it in a spreadsheet. And we've got all this automation and robotic stuff coming in now that anybody that's in a left brain type of task-oriented thing, those jobs are going. Those organizations, if they don't move, gone. Right? Or they've moved fast enough to sell up and move house into something else. Right? Not all of them can do that stuck in the old paradigm fast enough.
It's moving faster.
It is. There's a quickening. I feel a quickening happening.
I actually saw something just this week. I'm involved with an organisation, and they're putting these avatars together now.
Right.
That's based, so it's an image of me moving.
Yeah.
The program that moves my lips. Yeah. It's measured my voice.
Oh, this is those dangerous things that they can copy as well.
Double to digital, digital double.
Right.
And so I saw one. A friend of mine actually has had it done, and I'm on the list. 1,000 of us are on the list to get it done.
Right.
So I saw two this morning having a conversation, and they were avatars having a conversation.
So you wouldn't even know, right?
No.
They've done it like with Obama and so on, and saying silly things.
And you don't know the difference.
Well, because the negative side of that is that all of a sudden you see a clip from someone like an Obama or a Trump or whoever you believe, whatever, but a well-known figure, and you go, oh, it's him, and they're saying this. Okay, then that's what I'll do. Yeah. Dangerous. So that's in the wrong hands.
But if we put it in the right hands, can you imagine what it does for business now? Because rather than me turning up to my webinars, I pre-record everything.
Right.
Yep. I don't even have to have the video anymore. I just put my avatar there, put the audio behind it.
Right.
The lips move according to the audio, and away I go. Change the shirt.
Provided it's used, been blockchained up to the internet, so they know that at least that you recorded it, not somebody else.
But that's where it's going.
It is going
fast.
And this is what's scary. And like, a lot of people say, they'll shit on IT and digital and all this. And look, I get it. Because there's a double-edged sword, and this quickening you're talking about, it's a catalyst for good or for bad. The thing is, life is getting super fast, and we're getting all this decision fatigue coming in. And so then from a vision and mission point of view, how do you stay centered when your senses are being so overstimulated, right? And decision fatigue and the emails, all the digital stuff that's coming to you, it's more time than now to be centered.
Back to the vision.
Right.
Like we're talking about here, re-collaborating and putting that vision back together again.
Right.
And getting clear about the vision, because I'm suggesting a lot of the vision missions, they're done.
Right.
It's like the use by date.
It seems so old to me. I remember like companies, and you go and get everybody together, and they do this vision mission thing. A lot of it you be force fed.
Yeah.
You know, it's there on the wall at reception when you come in. No one looks at it. No one gives a shit.
But I think the importance of bringing it back in now,
right,
to clear the new vision,
right,
because that vision's probably been on the wall, you know, since
gathering dust.
Yeah, gathering dust. It was put there in the 60s or 70s or 80s.
It's probably an old vision of a world that doesn't even exist
because it's never been restructured, never been looked at again,
recalibrated.
I'm suggesting that now is the time to do it,
right?
Because there's no time in history like right now where things are changing fast.
Yeah,
seriously, like it's fast. And people just go, yeah, it's a blip. We're going to move through it. Going to go back to normal. I'm suggesting that's just not happening.
Right,
that's not happening. We're not going back to normal.
Right, we're not going back to what we saw as normal, right? The cracks have appeared. It's changing. It's broken.
It's gone.
Right, and with people becoming more bio than logical, and I see it like with a lot of the I'm testing this right now. I've actually got results with its frequency. A lot of people are going to go, what's that? Woo-woo.
It's Reiki in a box.
Right, Reiki in a box. There we go. Right, but integrating that with a biological, because there's practitioners like yourself that don't need devices like this. You've been doing it for 20 years, but not all of us are that good or have been that committed to it. So how do you give the mainstream an opportunity to experience it? That's what it feels like when I'm in the right zone. How do I do that myself, perhaps?
But I also think, Tommy, if it can be used well and you can get the similar results,
right,
while that's on you,
I
don't have to be with you for an hour.
Right.
I could be do something else.
Exactly right.
I could be doing something else that's, if you like, a little bit more useful, a little bit more connected to whatever my purpose is. So we can save some time and energy.
And it can be everywhere.
The danger of machines is that once again the few will make the money. And it won't be a cooperation where there's a cooperative of people making money. So you're going to get that peak again of the 90% and 10% paradigm. That's the danger, I think, of technology. That those that own technology won't share the resources.
That's what you're saying.
So there's a danger in that.
You know what? You know where that stems from? If we're talking vision and mission, I think it's going to very much depend on the vision and mission of the organisation that is proliferating the products. And like I said, in fact, I saw this organisational chart on McKinsey saying it's going from hierarchy to like network. Right. That's where it's headed, so that everybody benefits.
So so I'm in an organisation at the moment called New Economic Evolution Award. We've moved away from
it's such a great name.
Yeah, it is. Right. And we've moved away from multi-level marketing, because that's a structure where the top, still make the money, and the ones underneath make a bit less. And then if you don't sell the product every month, there's no income. That's pretty standard MLM. You've got to sell 10 products a month and pay your monthly fees. So there's a new way that we're working with called MLCI, the multi-level crowd investing. Right. So an organisation will come along, it could be somebody with an idea of a gadget. We invest in that company with them. Everybody that puts in, $5 or $10 to get it going. Invest. Little and Oculus Rift. Remember Oculus Rift? They brought out the
Oculus.
So the guy, 16-year-old guy, I think he was, with a partner, set it up, and then Google came along and bought it for, I think, $2 million or something like that 8 years later. Now, all those people that invested, they got their goggles. But when it got sold, they got nothing. So they helped him to get the company going. But when it got sold, they didn't make any money out of the sale because they weren't partners. But in the multi-level crowd investing rather than multi-level marketing or gifting, everybody gets a little share because they become members of that. That's where I think business can go. It's getting all the staff, everybody on board, involved in the business, so that everybody is in the risk space, everybody's in the profit space, so rather than just the cream on the top. Right.
Well, look, I mean, let's face it. The hierarchical days, that is what's going to disappear. We're going to see it. I'm going to call it hierarchy. Anything that is natured as hierarchy in its form is, I think, that's going to get torn down. I'm going to make a big call.
I'm saving this recording. This is going in the archives.
Don't worry, it's on FB. But there's going to be variations of these hub and spoke networks, right? And what works and what doesn't. The thing is, in the big picture, it's going from hierarchical to some form, right, of a network arrangement that everybody helps everybody. Right? I'm not talking Amway here, right?
It's like a honeycomb, is it? Everybody's connected.
Everybody's connected because we are all connected. Just go and educate yourself. For those that have a belief and saying, what are these dudes talking about? I used to think the same until I went and educated myself. The thing is, there are those with a closed mind that don't learn. Right? And they're hanging on to old beliefs. If you hang on to old beliefs, you're going to find it tough moving forward.
It's the worst investment, isn't it?
Right?
Mind.
Oh. Right?
It's the worst investment.
You've got to keep an open mind. Just because you can't see it yet or you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't so.
Yeah.
You know? We just don't know. And people want to hold on, vision and mission, they want to hold on to predictability. You know, there's a lot of stuff they just don't control. Life will come at you, no matter what gaming level in life, as you evolve and how slow and fast. And if you decide to remain in your, we've got the 500 race that happens here, and everybody wants to have a little play down the grid. That, you know, no matter what level you are at, there's always going to be another level in evolution. And some will decide that, you know what, all this change is too much for me. Some are going to say, I don't want to be around here anymore. I don't like this game. It's too scary. You know, so we are, for a lot of people, in a scary time. For a lot of other people, it's very exciting.
Yeah, and I think for me, the most exciting part for those people in that business corporate space is there's an opportunity now that if you're a thinker,
right,
if you're a creator, you can start to use your creative juices in the space and bring forth ideas.
Boom.
Because there's a space now for new ideas.
Yeah, because the logical side, automated, that's going to be taken care of. Creative. Yeah. So what's going to be the difference now?
So we don't have to follow so much anymore. But we can actually become the leaders.
Right.
Those are the leaders that are ready to stand up. And maybe there's people here sitting here going, I've got these ideas,
right,
but I haven't had the platform to deliver an idea before. Well, here's the platform.
Yeah.
This is the time. You know, I put in a application, Tommy, for a trademark. Right. For an IP for a game I've been making. And I spoke to my lawyer last week, and I said, how's it going? He said, well, there's a few things you need to do. You've got to make a couple of videos playing the game. You've got to put some of your images up. We've got to send them to them to prove that it's real. Because since COVID, the amount of people putting ideas forth to IP Australia for to get an idea trademark is gone up through the roof.
Is that right?
So we paid extra.
Fascinating.
We actually paid an extra fee to expedite the process, which usually speeds it up. We paid that money. By paying that, we are at the normal speed.
Right.
Those that didn't expedite and pay that extra fee, like we did, way back, like maybe 18 months or 2 years behind before they even get it here from IP Australia about their idea.
Right.
And what they're saying in there is people right now, because they're at home, they've lost their jobs and they've had the ideas, and now throwing the ideas at them.
Right.
Because desperation.
But now people have to think again.
A bit of desperation as well. Like, you know, I haven't got any work, but I've been sitting on this idea for a puzzle or a game or some bit of IT.
Right.
So now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
But because of collective consciousness, everybody's done it at one time.
Right. Isn't that?
So it's slower.
Right.
Because everybody's in it.
Right. They've clogged it up. They bottlenecked up.
So collective consciousness is real. You know, and like a proven fact here. Like, you know, everybody's just gone at the same time. IP. Right. So I'm in that space too. Luckily, the expedite mine and mine will hopefully be through in the next few weeks.
Right.
But getting back to the point of that, if you have an idea now, and to bring that forward into the world, this is the platform.
Right.
The world is waiting for ideas.
Right.
The world is waiting for leadership. The world is waiting to take business and products, you know, like to a whole new space.
Absolutely.
Right now, it's raining with ideas.
There is a quantum leap.
It's raining with
ideas.
It's
literally quantum leap, as in not a big step. It is actually in the quantum connection, and the fact that people are now taking the opportunity where things are broken and they've had to think again. We some of us, you know, I've got a post that I did on Facebook last week that blew up. Right. And the reason I put it out there was to provoke people to think. Now, I was kind of like, you know, I was trolled in a couple of areas.
And the devil's advocate.
Well, as putting it out there, and I was remaining respectful and so on. You know, some people were kind of losing it a bit on me because I was presenting a different line of thinking.
Dangerous.
Now, it's dangerous, isn't it? Because no, my beliefs are there. What are you doing? No. Well, the fact checker has checked this. I'm like, well, who's fact checking the fact checker?
Well, I think
who is the fact checker?
I wrote that on there actually. Who's the independent
The independent fact checker.
Because I can't find it. I've Googled it. I don't know who it is.
Right. Well, I mean, one of them I know, Politic, I think it was called. Politic was one of them, which is very well known. And then there's Snopes and so on.
But are they independent?
But they're not independent because they're owned by a company called Pointer.
Yeah.
And Pointer are funded and owned by guess who?
Yeah, Mr. G.
Bill. No, not me.
No, the other Mr. G.
Yeah, Mr. Gates.
Yeah.
Right? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation own them, and Google.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's not independent.
Fund Pointer. So how is that independent? But this is the thing. People have given away their power.
Yeah.
They've given away their power to stop thinking, to stop challenging. Now, we're talking about vision and mission.
Yep.
You have got to have the balls
to create a new vision.
To create a new vision, because let me tell you, you are going to get flack. And so the true leader will be able to tap into people. Some of them will go, no, because it's going to challenge their belief system. But if you truly believe, and not to be a dick, so to speak, you're not out there just to create issues. Some people will say, oh, you're creating polarity. If you're a leader, guess what? There's going to be some polarity.
Because leaders never create polarity.
Yeah, like how did it ever occur in a non-polarity environment unless people were asleep?
Yeah. But then there's a polarity, awake and
right?
sleep.
Awake and sleep.
That's not a polarity.
Right. So it's change.
There's always polarity.
And tension in the system. There's a huge amount of tension in the system right now where it needs to change. Yeah. So people visioning and missioning, I'm hoping that leaders, true leaders, will be okay with copping crap. And I know dear old Mr. What do they call him? They're calling him Kim Jong. Is it Andrews down in Melbourne? Because I'll tell you what, I'm questioning the motives behind a lot of stuff, and I'm seeing, and we saw they tried to have a demonstration on, it was globally a demonstration day on Saturday for freedom of speech and these sorts of things, and they came out very aggressive. And just saying, well, anybody else, and make sure it went on mainstream media so that people could be sort of like shunned back into fear. Don't go outside your door. Don't go against the mainstream, and we're taking things down. That's, people have an opportunity to have courage to go and speak their truth. And that the tension in that system right now is significant. It's a telling time.
Very telling time.
Right? Yeah. But you wonder about the motive. So I think have the courage to question. And everybody, from freedom of speech, and everybody in a free world should have the authority to question and to have their own power.
And that's what we're losing because, we're speaking, let's name Mr. Andrews in Victoria, Premier, is basing his so-called facts on a particular set of belief systems from the health minister.
Right.
Who is actually at odds with some of the leading experts in the world,
right,
around that health belief.
Right.
So they're at odds in terms of their belief systems or their research.
Right.
So he's basing his decisions on the research of one person that's at odds with people with higher.
So where is the truth, Adrian? So then where is the truth?
Truth's an interesting word, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah. But I think it's about not being locked into a fear base. It's about negotiation. It's about creating a vision that includes everybody.
Right. Connecting.
So if you've got a certain proportion of the population, and I think this is growing quite rapidly, who are at odds with the decisions being made, where's the dialogue?
Right.
Where's the healthy dialogue? Because if you're running a company...
Dialogue goes both ways,
If you're running a company...
It's not a monologue.
In a dictatorial fashion, like some of the politicians are trying to bring across at the moment.
Yeah.
That's old.
It is old.
That's not
another
new.
Old paradigm game of drive, fear, authority, crunch,
and politics.
Get back into your box.
And politics isn't going to last in that paradigm.
No, it won't.
It's crumbling already.
That's a paradigm shift happening there right now.
It's totally is. Yeah. It's we've got the American elections coming up soon with Mr. Trump.
Oh boy.
And Trump he's a phenomenon.
He's
the first non-political.
He's disruptive.
He's a disruptor.
Right.
And whether you love him or not, he's a disruptor.
Yeah. He's shaking the
changed the face of politics.
Shaking the tree big time.
And he's only the first.
Yeah.
Those going to follow him.
Right.
Who knows who's going to follow?
Well, this is interesting because you look at Roger Bannister. 4 Minute Mile. Right?
Broke it and everybody else broke it.
All of a sudden, everybody said, "Oh, it's now believable. You can do it." They said that your heart would explode if you ran up. I mean, what? This must have been the health department saying, "Oh no, our numbers say that your heart would explode if you broke a 4-minute mile. It's not possible.
But they never run the 4-minute mile.
Well, of course.
It's a theory. Yeah.
Where's their data coming from? Because there's a lot of question over the data sources now, right?
Always.
Right.
Always, isn't it?
Someone goes and breaks the belief, and like I said, all of a sudden, everybody's breaking the 4-minute mile. What? Because all of a sudden, humans got a massive upgrade?
Yeah.
I don't think so. The only upgrade that happened was in the belief system.
Collective consciousness.
Right.
Again, we mentioned that.
Collective consciousness.
Collective consciousness.
Back in through quantum physics. Quantum physics, guys, not BS. Quantum physics.
Yeah. And in the business space, there's a quantum energy.
Right.
In business.
Right.
Things move at the same time. If you look around the globe in terms of manufactured cars, go back to the end of the 18th century.
Yeah.
It wasn't just in the UK that cars were being built.
Right.
There were other areas where they're all being, suddenly the download was coming through, and everybody was on the race to build the locomotive or the engine.
Right.
Not because they were talking to each other.
Right.
Because the frequency was there.
Right.
It's
I mean, you look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Those guys that took the risk to be out the pointy end got put in jail.
Yeah.
Right. They went against the norm. People didn't like it. Those that had vested interests in a certain paradigm model thought, well, let's leverage the legal system as much as we can now to put them away, right? And look what it is now. It's like it's becoming the norm.
Yeah,
new, another one.
Yeah, Bitcoin, news another one.
Right, another
one. Regulation world. It's
right.
1.5 million members globally already in 12 months.
Right.
And these are growing. These new organizations, these new communities, I like to call them.
Yep.
And the new, Tommy and I also engaged in a business network and a BX, and that's new phenomenon. It's totally a new way to do business.
It's not like the old. I got to say, I'm sorry, BNI. I'm not a BNI guy.
No.
That reminds me of the old paradigm world of almost being in a boardroom. I thought, I don't want to be in that old paradigm.
Yeah.
I want to do business. I want to do it professionally. I want to do it
the
better than I had before. We want the X factor.
And we got it in BX.
Right? Yeah, and BX, we've got to give it to Maddie and the team.
Yeah.
They brought out a structure, nice structure like BNI, we're great at that.
Yep.
But then something that was more human, it seemed more human.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a real stepping stone to what's even next after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everything's a stepping stone in this.
Into something.
So I'm if we got, let's BNI, BX.
Yep.
What's next?
Right. What's next?
That's the exciting bit for me.
There we go. Right.
Yeah. I'm loving what I'm in.
Yeah.
But I'm also going, okay.
Where's this going now?
Where
next?
And where can I stretch my creativity as a BX leader as well? And where can Matt and the team take it to that next one? Because if we don't, that'll get the old paradigm. That'll become the old.
So we got to keep moving forward.
But
there's creativity.
Yeah.
So where does it come from? We can't see it yet. But we are creators, and we allowed ourselves to get put in the box. And I think for a while, that may have made sense because it was then the present paradigm.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me to get stuck to a point where now it's being tested because of something that was triggered off around the world, and God knows where that came from. Really, right? I have my suspicions, but that's just my opinion, right? But this thing set off ripple effect across every system that we know. So coming into visioning and missioning, looking forward then, how does a leader now go forward into that black abyss? And I think we've been skirting on this.
Creating space. Creating space.
Break that down for us. What does that mean?
So for me, it will be create the space to sit, to be, to communicate, to get creative, and just to be open to tuning into the quantum to see what ideas are there. So, creating that mastermind space. A bit like, back to Napoleon Hill almost, like create your mastermind partnerships and your groups, sit in the room, drop into the meditation space, be open, open mind, no closed mind, which takes some work. That's not easy, I get it, I really do. And then saying, this is where we are right now, where can we go? I call it the future potential space or future potential self. What can I vision that's way out there with no holes? And it might be, the vision might be, we're going to end up with a $1 trillion company that sells pink ice cubes. I don't know, whatever it is. It's like, okay, we got the idea. Now, how do we get there?
And do you know what? Isn't it great that we have an operating system called the internet is that every individual that decides to get creative can now have a business. And it's funny how we're forced into that into the homes.
Yeah. Everybody can have a business in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a business meeting with Carmel just before I come down here.
Right.
Sitting in the car on my phone. She's in Sydney.
Right.
We have 1 hour meeting every fortnight.
Right.
She's in BX, and we're discussing going forward in the future, talking about how to set up a website, how to set up the vision, how to set up the products.
Right.
And it's all online. She says, I've just met somebody who's going to do the website for me. It's going to take 2 weeks and a couple of grand.
Right.
And then I've got a marketer that, in Singapore or whatever. It's like this network again of people creating a new vision.
Because it's connecting. Networks are connecting. Right.
And being open to the newness.
Yeah.
Because we're going, the old websites don't work.
Yep.
The old meetings don't work.
Yep.
The old products are not working. People want something new.
Yep.
I'm going to use the word here, controversially, vegan.
Oh, God.
Go into a supermarket now.
Yeah.
Every food aisle.
Yeah.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Vegan. Vegan. Vegan.
Right.
Vegan.
Right.
Because it's the new collective consciousness where people are going food, health.
Yep.
What's the ultimate in terms of the studies that have been done?
Yep.
Is the vegan diet.
Okay.
Yeah. From some people's belief systems. Yeah. Let me add that.
Right. Okay.
So what the commercial have done is gone. We've got a new target of customers.
It's running away.
They're called vegans.
Opportunity.
Yeah. So we're going to grab that.
Yeah. The money's following.
Those supermarkets are not.
Right.
They're losing 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% of their future profits.
Yeah.
Because those vegans, those people thinking of their health, are not going to go into their shops.
Right.
Restaurants. If I walk into a restaurant now, there's nothing on the vegan. I'm out of there. They've lost me as a customer.
Right.
So if they're not up to date, if they're not in the new paradigm, they're gone.
Okay. So I want to say this isn't a vegan channel.
No, it's not.
Right.
No.
You're just expressing a point because I went on the vegan diet for 2.5 years, but for me, for a cleanup. Because I was on a crappy diet. Now, you can be on a shitty diet as a vegan.
Oh, totally.
Sugar still's okay. Right? Yeah. Right? And fried chips and whatever else, which is going to kill you. It's going to wrap itself around your heart, both sugar and fried chips. If you're genetically are predisposed to some issues there, that will expose it. Guaranteed, right? So the philosophy I take on this is, what does an individual actually need? So epigenetically, I'll look down. And so I moved from that to actually become using science, right? Because that seems to be the a-religious approach to believing stuff.
Scientific muscle testing.
And there we go, scientific muscle testing, right?
Which is a science.
It is a science.
The art of muscle testing.
Yeah.
The science of muscle
Kinesiology and things like that, right?
People study kinesiology for years and years.
Oh, it's crazy stuff. Yeah. So a lot of those things were quashed away because of other financial interests. They got bigger along the way. We know the story. But where was I?
Veganism.
Veganism. Thank you. So with veganism, I don't believe in an ism anymore.
I'm not.
Because once you get an ism on the end of the word, it then becomes switch off brain. This is the Bible, so to speak. I will follow these rules. People stop thinking again. Veganism is good in my belief for a period of time for people if they want to do a cleanup, but healthy veganism.
Healthy.
Right? But then it may not, longer term, for people's biochemical requirements based on their individual genome could be different. Some more plant-based than others, right? For me, it ended up being pescatarian.
And it changes.
It can change in location and on season
and
as
age,
well.
And
age, right, and requirements. But now we've got science and devices and so on that can start to scan this to say, look, this is what we've got so far. This is best for you as an individual.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's not. So what we do, we gather the information collectively. And then we distribute that information individually. So for me, it's vegan. Vegetarian.
Right.
Flexitarian.
Flexitarian. Right, because you are flexitarian.
Quite flexible.
And it's healthy.
Very healthy.
I'll still have cheat day. One day a week, I won't go absolutely nuts. I used to drink a lot in my executive days, right? Fly, drink. I was buzzing a lot of the time, let alone the adrenaline I already had going on the system. Now it's like cheat day for me is having, maybe I'll have more than 2 glasses of wine. Maybe it's 3, and maybe I'll have 1 cocktail.
I had a shandy yesterday.
Did you?
The lemonade was probably more lethal than the
beer.
The
sugar in there. The alcohol, right?
Yeah, but a schooner of shandy.
Right. Depending on, once again, your genetic makeup. It'll hurt certain people more than others.
Yeah.
I know alcohol, I'm actually okay. I've got genes that actually metabolize it at slow speeds, allow the enzymes inside to actually break it down before it does damage.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody.
Yeah, not everybody. Yeah, right. So me, sugar, I'm really hyper on sugar. So I'm really.
As if you're not hyper normally.
Yeah, but I'm cautious on sugar.
Right.
I'm really cautious on it because I know if I have too much sugar, if I have a ginger beer, or if I have 2 glasses of lemonade with sugar, woof,
you're off.
So one is the sort of I'm okay.
Right, so you're feeling it. So this is the bio side of the logical piece, right? So bio, you're also tapping into you, and that's what we forgot to do. We got programmed out of that to know just think left, check data, just do analytical stuff on data, and everybody gets persecuted for going outside of data.
Yeah, so that's probably, if we swing right back to the beginning of the show, that question then around holding the new vision mission and the connection to the body, it's about feeling what's next, isn't it?
It is. It is, right? This brings it to a beautiful juncture here, because every time you use data, guess what? That data was based on history.
There you go.
It was based on a paradigm that's gone. And all we're doing is we're extrapolating and making projections from what we have collected in the past to give us some form of surety, peace of mind looking into the future.
But we have to know that history's correct.
Right?
That's the problem.
Well, even then, we don't know. This is only what
it's all based on theory.
Right. And so we've got all these data wars happening right at the moment, COVID and this, and interpreting and recategorizing different diseases, and we're counting someone falling off a tree and breaking their neck as a COVID thing, and all it's messy right now.
It's messy.
Right? The point is, anytime we're analysing with data, we're analysing on what happened. Or you can extrapolate forward to where the future has not been here yet and say, this is where we believe it will go because of the data. Well, that's only the data. We're not tapping into the bio piece. Quantum physics field, all this stuff. It just doesn't go into a spreadsheet. Why? Because it's not a number. It didn't happen yet. And you can create the future.
We can. And a lot of that is something I've learned in terms of, sort of my spiritual research, is that we cannot base human consciousness on past human consciousness and measure ourselves in terms of what we need now based on historical facts.
Right.
Because the consciousness of humanity was different than it is now.
Right.
It's different today than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're still measuring human beings from 10 years ago, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, biologically. It's out of date.
Right.
Because we're not the same vibration on the planet right now as we were 10 years ago. The energy of the Earth, the human measurements on the planet right now are different than they were 2 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago.
Frequencies. Right.
So that data is out of date.
Right.
So how do we keep up with current data? We have to be awake to the current vibrational energy on the planet.
Yep.
And that's a challenge, because the idea of quantum is often the issue. Because people go, what's this quantum woo stuff?
I can't package it up. I can't lock it down. I can't stick it in my microscope. I can't, right? And this is where humanity has the opportunity, those that choose to really step forward into that blackness. So the things we can create.
So Tommy, how do you and I and others in this leader space get into the space, sitting with, some of the people now watching and listening in, to have this discussion, to bring in some resources and tools to support people to break open into that new paradigm? Because that's what's needed. The dialogue has to happen, the exercises, the resources have to be now shared. In terms of the tech and the mind and the combination of the tech and the mind. So that's what it's all about. For me, it's embracing the scientific and the spiritual together. Spiritual science.
Beautiful.
If we create spiritual
logical.
The spiritual logical,
as we call it.
If we bring in the spiritual science forward as a unity, so they're not fighting, because
we're integrating them.
The church and the scientists and the church have been fighting each other for 1,000 years. But now what we need is the alchemy.
The integration.
The alchemy of the scientific and the spiritual. If we can take that into the workplace, we take that into corporate space. That's the change.
That absolutely is the change. And we get to, as I've said many times, the corporate world's getting ripped off. The first that has the balls, right, to go and take that step forward into what was not the norm, was not safe, really it's becoming unsafe now to stay back because we know that's breaking, right? To create and to grit inside their people. And this is where, they talk about involvement equals commitment. And we kind of did that with putting together visions and missions, and some of the more contemporary organizations knew that you needed to get the people involved, but they still kept them very much in tight guardrails of, here's the data of how it happened before. So yes, everybody can be involved, but here are the rules. Right? Well, guess what? There ain't any fucking rules anymore. Right? And those that are game enough to venture out are the ones that are going to win the most, because people will then be seeing that their creativity beyond just numbers, to get in there and ideate, to create. Now the numbers come in. Okay, then guys, this is fantastic. Now on the mind map, right, going forward. So how do we get organized? Great, we can use some data and stuff to get things organized, right? So that we can work together from a network efficient point of view. But really drawing the corporates that have the courage to tap into the creativity of their people, where every individual feels they are contributing, they're in the right seat in the house. And we start to talk about, dare I get woo-woo-y, love, right? Love in the definition of, you're not going to go up and hug and kiss them because that'll be an HR violation to begin with, right? But we're talking about love as in appreciating, right? People having your interest in seeing them be the best them as a leader, and taking the time to work that out for each individual. That to me is leadership. And the vision piece will be for those leaders that have the courage to take people into, you used to have this acronym BHAG, Big Hairy Audacious Goal by, I think it was Jim Collins, I think, with the balanced scorecard, I think.
Was it what's his Rowan, was it? Was it Rowan?
I can't remember. Anyway, one of them. Right, there's someone can pop it up here. The BHAG. And it's funny, I've used the BHAG thing in teams that I've led. You go, straight away, it's like, we can't do that. Okay. I said, well, that's a great start.
We're stuck.
So guess what, guys? At the end, it got to a point where, well, it's happening. Now I want to know, right, how? How can we do this? Let's say it was possible. If it was possible, because I know you feel it's impossible right now, how would you go? I'm trying to tap into their creativity, to switch on their brain, right? And all of a sudden, they start to create, and then they break it down. Maybe we could, once they switch that, and I go, okay, great. Now they're on board. Now they're involved. Now they're creating, right? And all of a sudden, what do you know? We've done the Roger Bannister.
Break it down.
4-minute mile has been broken.
I'll tell a little story. There's a friend of mine, Bruce, in South Africa, who's been a mentor of mine for many years. He's a beautiful man. Plays like 152 different instruments. Played in the corporate space, right across the globe with big corporate companies, BHP and BP and others. Right. Goes in AHA Learning. And I remember doing a workshop with Bruce many years ago in Australia when he came across here. I knew him in Africa quite well. He'd set up the room in the old way with all the chairs, front of the stage. He'd come on, and so everybody would be sitting there, 40, 50 people in the room, waiting for Bruce to appear in front of the audience. Right. And he'd go to the back and start talking. And you'd get, 40, 50, 100 in the room, whatever they are. We'd turn around in the chairs and look at him. And after 5 minutes, they're still sitting in their chairs looking. And you might get one person in the room to pick up the chair and turn the chair around to look at him.
Interesting.
And then one more would do it.
Right.
But some didn't.
Right.
Some didn't have the courage, foresight, nerve, whatever, to pick up the chair. Because there was no way that was his thing. He was going to stay there for an hour.
Right.
And it was part of his teaching.
Right.
It was a great teaching.
Right.
Great teaching. About changing the paradigm. Right. Changing the space. Yeah. Everybody's expecting this.
Yep.
He brought something new.
Yeah.
Had early adopters.
Right.
They thought, it's more comfortable to turn my chair around than I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Then there were those that were sort of challenged.
Yeah.
And there was those that just couldn't turn their chair around. It was like so conformed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And probably the fear of, what if I move my chair or whatever.
Well, the grasshopper that keeps hitting the lid of the jar, that eventually you could take the lid of the jar off. You're not jumping anymore.
Yeah. But what a great teaching.
Right.
from a thought, and Bruce is like really out there in his thought leading space.
Right.
And he used to come up with all these mind challenging exercises.
Right.
And I just remember that one so well.
Yeah.
You know, I was pick a chair up or turn it around, but it was like a brain of things like I'm not comfortable. He's talking now. Pick my chair up and move. It's like,
right.
But that's my nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am that forward thinking, creative.
Right.
But others in the room struggle.
They do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's a place for those people as well. You know, because you will have the ones that are super creative thinkers, and then there's the other ones that are a bit different, and physiologically and biochemically they're actually different because they have a different set.
They keep us on track.
They keep us on track, right? People like you and me,
Yeah,
which going out there, right? Need people to create that balance, but it's been held back because systemically the way things have been built from a hierarchical point of view have really held back people's creativity. You know, and so now I think they'll break, but I think it's going to be tough for the laggard, slow, old paradigm organisations that have a system that is so ingrained with people that have been so entrained, right? And it'll be, I think, the new ones that are emerging that are going to fly out. I mean, we saw this happen with Facebook, Google, all those, and if you just look at how their value and their stock price exploded in the. No one ever thought.
Look at Zoom right now.
No one ever thought.
Look at Zoom. Zoom is quadrupled.
Look at Zoom.
It's quadrupled in its share price in the last
Ridiculous.
4 or 5 months because of COVID.
And I think we're going to see more of that. There is a quickening happening. I think we're going to see organisations proliferating at speed. And why? Because a lot of people have been forced to go back home. In the meantime, the laggard organisations are in their current systems enjoying the fact that, we don't need all this infrastructure anymore. Let's just spend a part of that budget to get everybody equipped to work from home because look at the P&L. But what's coming is the fact that people are starting to free up from the system now. You know, there's going to be a number of side hustles that are going to be built from home. Right?
Of course.
And their productivity's increased because they're not having to travel as much anymore. Plus, they can work different hours. And the beautiful thing is that they can spend more time with their loved ones, right? And hopefully actually being present in that as well, not just doing emails till midnight, right? Because some people find it tough delineating between, now it's work is finished, now that we've got to be careful.
It's a holistic lifestyle.
Right? It's a holistic lifestyle. They have the option and choice to have. There's some more freedom there now, so that hopefully they use it responsibly. Like the key lifestyle factors that we have: Movement Monday, Tasting Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday,
Freedom Friday, Social Saturday, and Soulful Sunday.
Right. So they've really got to take that now and get that instilled at home because the lines have become blurred. They're not now going to the office, and now I am doing work at the office.
It's been disrupted.
It's all integrated.
And if you think back, Tommy, probably 8 years, 9 years, that word disruption started coming into the work corporate space.
Right.
They were having, across the world, they were having conferences on disruption. Come to the disruption conference. How do we disrupt? So collectively, people wanted disruption.
Right, they did.
And what's happened? We've got it.
It's delivered. Now
we've got it.
What do we do with this now?
Yeah, we've got it.
Right.
That was a collective thought. Tens of thousands of people in that space were trying to bring disruption. Like disruption. It was like that.
Well, it's here now.
I had a friend from Oslo who flew to Australia a few years ago to come to a conference here on disruption. And now we've got it, guys. You wanted it. So now what are we going to do with it?
Right.
What are we going to do with it?
Right.
How are we going to form that disruption into something positive and put it back together again in a new form? We've broken it down.
Vision and mission redefined.
Redefining the vision and the mission. Maybe that's a good place to bring us to a bit of a closure of, what are you going to do, the watchers and the listeners here, to redefine that vision and that mission, and how you're going to restructure it. And if you want any support on that, give us a call.
Absolutely.
Because it's what we are good at. It's what we do.
Well, people that are creators and change makers, are now going to come to the fore because the old machine is about to go through a significant transition.
The locomotive is going, and the high-speed train is back on the rails now. The old gauge is finished.
That's it.
Steam trains now are things you go to amusement parks to ride.
Right.
Everyone's a high speed, new tech, fast trains, non-pollutant, no wood, no steam.
That's it.
It's changed. Cars have changed, electric cars.
there's a quantum leap opportunity.
Yeah. Cars are changing, transport's changing, technology's changing, communication's changing. At speed.
There's a quickening.
Yeah.
There's a quickening, and there's got to be ways to cope with that. And so, from a physiological aspect, as a new visionary, and then setting a mission, but vision is going to be so much more important now than it ever has, I think, in the industrial world, on setting that going forward, getting your people so engaged and truly creating and being a part of that new vision to get them on board. And that's going to mean a lot of systemic change, because you get the old vision and mission thing, we go in there and then, or even training, and then you go back into the old system. So, and then it just goes out the window. Right?
So you need the leaders to hold
the line and drive big change.
That's tough
in existing organizations. The new ones that are going to bolt out of the gate, like Facebook, Google, and all those did. The new ones beyond them, which is going to be, I think, a lot more about spiritualism now, because we're going to the next level, and it's going to be about sustainability. It's going to be about doing the right thing, because the truth, I don't care what anybody says, the truth always bubbles to the surface.
So back to morality, mate,
right?
Moral consciousness.
Back to moral consciousness. It's simple. The mind thinks, the heart knows. A lot of us switched off and stayed here and didn't disconnect from the heart. They even talk about these things about reptiles or reptilians or whatever that is, right? But people know. You know what is right.
Moral code.
That comes
moral
from here.
Consciousness.
Time to either switch this on for the first time or switch it on again or whatever. Moral consciousness lives here. Right?
Big one, big topic.
Big topic.
Maybe it's a bit of a topic for later on. But
later this week.
But the collectiveness, from today, Tommy, the message is revisioning.
Yes.
Revision.
Revision. Into a new paradigm.
Yeah. And finding new ways to create that vision. So, Tommy G.
Woo! Mr. Hanks. On fire.
Off we run again.
On fire.
But I'm excited by this challenging time.
What a great time to be alive. Some of us think those guys are crazy. Thinking,
but we're going to look
so
back.
much great stuff coming.
I know. I'm going to look back at this in 5 or 10 years time and go, we were so on track.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to put it out there, right? And I know, I can feel it, and I know, because 80% of the time I get this stuff right. I don't mind saying, right? At least that was in the past, right? No, I feel it right now. I feel this is the time, actually, that every step and thing that happened in my life personally has come to this moment, right? Where I think we're going to see, and I see myself playing a part in it, as I am right now, right? Calling it.
We're doing it, man. We've been here for 4 or 5 months.
Right. Yep.
Here,
we're calling it.
Consciously, we're here with our enthusiasm, with our commitment.
Yep.
Because we believe in what we are putting forward.
Yeah.
We have a vision.
And that human consciousness, biological. Logical is kind of still required, but now bio is the place to go. And with bio, we're starting to talk about going deeper and the emotional, what do you call it? The consciousness, the human consciousness.
The moral consciousness,
right? And coming more from the heart is what's going to be the big differentiator that's going to take everything forward, right? The right way.
So, Tommy G, let's go and have an amazing week. And for those that are on here in the page, in LinkedIn,
Cap TV
page, Cap TV.
Yep.
If you want to jump over into the group, we actually have something on there every day of the week. So if you want to come over to that space and connect into the videos and the information we put up there, do the tune in, enter in.
They can follow here as well on the page.
Yeah, on the page.
Yeah,
but they're also the group as well.
If you want to get more content stuff daily, then come into the group. The Corporate Alchemist Project group. Right, you'll see this on the page. Go to the group and put your application in to come on board as an executive, right? And we'd love to have you in there. And how do people reach out to you, Mr. Hanks?
Come and say hello on the Gold Coast if you're here, or
Absolutely.
If not, if you want to jump on, you can go to my website, which is adrianhanks.com. And there's lots of videos in the media page. There's lots of information about what I do. Pretty eclectic. There's lots going on. So adrianhanks.com. And Tommy G, where can they find you apart from coming to have lunch with you on the golf
Well,
course.
it is, and I'm in my gear today because it's moving Monday, but
Yeah.
I move it on every day, as we should. So TommyGallant.com is about to undergo some massive renovation online. That's happening over 10 weeks.
A new vision.
Contact a new vision, absolutely, right?
Walking the talk.
Updating it.
Walking the talk.
Yeah, well, yeah, constantly. But that's going to be revamped. But there's a contact page on there, or you can just message us here on LinkedIn. You know, Tommy Gallant on LinkedIn, and of course on the biotechexec.net is where you can see the current program. We've got the video. We're going to start going into production soon. So that's going to be happening over the next 10 weeks.
It is, yeah. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Putting some content together that's usable as a resource to connect into. I'm really excited about something.
Yeah.
Really excited.
Right. That's to help us bring a lot of the stuff that we have for business, but to bring it more mainstream so everybody can get access to that. God, what else? I think that's about it for now.
That's probably
enough.
A good wrap.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys.
All right, take care.
Okay, we'll see you on the next one on Friday. On Freedom Friday.
Freedom Friday.